This is CBC Here and Now.
It's awfully quiet here now, but it won't stay like that for long. The sun is shining, the bands are getting ready, and the 46th version of the Folk Festival is set to kick off in about half an hour. I'm down here live. We'll chat to some organizers, and I'll also bring you your weather coming up.
Memorial University is establishing a new hub for training and education in the tech sector, and 3 master's programs affiliated with it are already filled to capacity for September. I'm Terry Roberts. We'll have that story coming up.
Welcome to Here and Now. I'm Carolyn Stokes. Rogers Communications is experiencing a widespread network outage across parts of the country, including parts of this province.
I'm feeling a little disoriented because I went across the street to get groceries, and of course debit machines and credit machines are not working.
Yeah, internet, mobile, and home services have been disrupted for millions of Canadians. The shutdown is having a big impact on companies and services that rely on Rogers infrastructure. Interac and many credit and debit machines are also experiencing disruptions. Everything from retailers to courthouses, airlines, and Service Canada, including ones that issue passports, have been impacted. Among the more serious effects, police in Toronto and Ottawa were warning of problems when trying to connect to 911. An incident in Humber Arm South near Corner Brook has led to 6 weapons and assault-related charges against a 38-year-old. There was quite a stir in the small neighborhood yesterday when a police tactical team descended on the man's home. Here Now's Troy Turner has this report.
Terry Green was working in her basement when the calls started coming in. Her neighbors worried something was wrong. A police car was parked just outside her home.
My dog started going a little crazy because she's a little territorial. So she started barking like crazy, and I was thinking, what are you barking at? Like, you know, and when I looked out my window and looked down, there was a cop with a dog sat right outside the window.
Police were descending on her neighbor's house. They brought in a drone, a dog, and then a tactical vehicle.
It was kind of freaky, I'm not going to lie. I was a little anxious over it. I paced the floor for hours and hours and hours. Just because I didn't know what, I questioned everything. I didn't know if it was somebody in there, someone not in there, or what even brought them here, you know. I really had no idea, so you kind of think everything, but yeah, it was alarming.
Police issued statements throughout the day saying there was no risk to the public and asking people to avoid the area. The road was shut down from supper hour to about 11 o'clock at night. Green says the dramatic incident caused a lot of fear.
Just that, like, the unknown, like none of us had any idea, and I didn't even have any idea what it could have been anybody in there, you know, that they were going for. I didn't know the situation, or so. Yeah, I don't know if I would agree with that assessment. I wouldn't have last night for sure.
The RCMP was not available for an interview today. If there's one thing that Green wanted to pass along to the members of her community is that if there is a situation such as the one that occurred this week, it's for people to keep their distance and not line the street trying to get close as police do their work. Troy Turner, CBC News, Halfway Point.
A 2-year-old oil spill is showing up in pigeon eggs near Postville in Nain. Monitoring from the 3,000-liter spill has turned up elevated levels of some diesel-related compounds. Nunatsiavut government says it doesn't have enough information to say whether eggs and other wild food in the area are safe to eat, so it is cautioning people to consider that uncertainty when out harvesting. Nunatsiavut has plans to start testing other species and nearby communities. Well, the price of gas is down by nearly 14 cents today, bringing the price below $2 a litre in parts of the province. And this is the first time gas has been under a toonie since early March. The Public Utilities Board adjusted the price overnight because the global price of gasoline has dropped. A litre of self-serve now costs just under $1.96 on the Avalon Peninsula, $1.98 in central Newfoundland, and $2.02 in Labrador West. West. It's the first time gas is under $2 in more than 3 months. Diesel also went down by just over 16.5 cents a liter. Furnace and stove oils both dropped by about 14.5 cents a liter. There's no change in the price of propane. Well, the union representing Eastern Health psychologists says there's an urgent need to retain them. And President Gordon Piercy says adding a labor market adjustment would be a good start. Piercy is responding to stories from CBC Investigates last month, which showed the province is struggling to fill vacancies. The CBC's Ariana Kelland has this update.
For a while last year, there was resignations happening on a weekly basis.
For years, Gordon Piercy has watched as psychologists left public health. As of late May, Eastern Health had a nearly 45% vacancy rate in clinical psychology. Many had gone to the private sector, where pay is more lucrative. Asking government to pay the same as the private sector would be nearly impossible, but Piercy says there is another option.
One thing that government can do right now, immediately, is look at a labor market adjustment for this group, for this clinical psychologist. You don't have to wait for collective bargaining. You don't have to wait for lengthy reclassifications to come through. That is something that government can do in fairly short order.
Labor market adjustments are used when demand outstrips supply. Piercy hopes adding a stipend will help keep the psychologists that are left. But money is just one part of the problem, and arguably a smaller one at that.
What we're hearing from some of the members as they're leaving is that they're unhappy with the workplace culture. They feel like they're not being heard. They feel like their concerns are not being heard. They're asked to do a lot more with a lot less resources. And there are some places where there's actually some fairly complicated, and I'll even go so far to say toxic workplaces.
Piercy says the healthcare system is at a crossroads, and he's hoping the new again Health Minister Tom Osborne will help right the ship. Piercy says recruitment and retainment has to be a top priority. Eastern Health says it is planning to restart its residency program, one that was put on pause this year as it dealt with a shortage of supervisors. It hopes that the program will attract new talent. But in the meantime, the health authority says it will continue to hire skilled social workers when there are no psychologists to do the job. Ariana Kelland, CBC News, St. John's.
The rate of growth in this province's tech sector is being described as explosive, with many companies struggling to recruit highly skilled talent. Well, today, Memorial University announced plans to establish a new hub for technology education. And as Terry Roberts reports, there's already plenty of interest.
Some came with the cash, just under $2 million from the feds, the province, and the university itself. These educational leaders came to bask in the good news. This undeveloped space on the 5th floor of the new science building is about to be transformed into the Memorial University Center for Artificial Intelligence, a leading-edge teaching space for 3 new master's programs in artificial intelligence, software engineering, and data science that will begin in September. More than 150 graduate students, a significant number from outside of Canada, will complete the 1-year program. And don't even think about applying for this September.
We had oversubscribed applications. We have full admissions for September and waiting lists.
This province's tech sector is thriving. More than 200 companies, about 6,500 workers, projections of thousands more jobs in the coming decade. But there's a problem, and it's limiting further growth.
I spoke with many companies, and 86% of them report that they're having challenge to find talent.
So Memorial is stepping up.
We are answering that call for talent.
Doubling admissions into its undergrad computer science programs, and now establishing an AI hub to train master's students and collaborate with this growing sector of the economy.
The new Centre for Artificial Intelligence will launch Newfoundland and Labrador's tech centre into the future, and it will fuel all of Canada with talent for generations to come.
This is great news for the TechNL members. This is great news for the sector. This is great news for the province.
4 new faculty are being hired for the AI Center. And in order to attract more computer science graduates, Memorial is stepping up its recruitment in places like Toronto and other major cities.
They'll work on creating companies. They'll do a lot for this province.
AI is changing the world, and Memorial wants to build its reputation as a place that offers timely and advanced education. Based on early interest in these new graduate programs, Memorial appears to be heading in that direction, and there's nothing artificial about that. Terry Roberts, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, another young hockey player from Newfoundland and Labrador has punched his ticket to the NHL. 18-year-old Ryan Green was selected by the Chicago Blackhawks in the second round of the NHL draft this afternoon. Green is from Paradise and spent last season playing in the United States Hockey League. He's committed to play at Boston University next season and could make the leap to the big leagues in the next few seasons. Green joins Alex Newhook, Dawson Mercer, and Zach Dean as high draft picks taken from this province in recent years. Well, turns out there is someone you can call if you're in turtle trouble. The Turtle Rest and Retirement Villa, yes, you heard that right, now fosters 60 adult turtles in St. John's, but it recently had to make room for one more after an abandoned reptile was discovered in Bowring Park. Now, the couple behind the rescue group says it points to a bigger problem. Here and now, Zach Gowdy has more.
There are many animals that make their home in Bowring Park. A turtle is not supposed to be one of them. Yet here it is, spotted on Wednesday morning, basking on the rocks near the ducks and swans. When there's turtle trouble, there's one couple that always answers the call. Dennis Oliver and Tanya Constantine of the Turtle Rest and Retirement Villa.
This morning at 9:30, we actually spotted the wayward turtle. Now the challenge is to actually get the turtle out of the water.
Usually, Oliver and Constantine don't have to go looking for turtles. Usually, the turtles come to them.
Look at the crowd, look. Starving. Hi, babies. Look at Dad's turtles.
We got protein.
Yeah, it's fish day. You smell it, don't you?
Oliver and Constantine operate the Turtle Rest and Retirement Villa from their basement in the east end of St. John's.
Turtle rescue is where people take their turtles when they can no longer look after them. And that's for a whole variety of different reasons. It can be anything from health to moving to sickness in the family. A variety of different reasons why people need to surrender their turtles.
But there's another reason people bring their turtles here. The fact is, they're a tough pet to keep.
People get turtles when they are babies. So they start out, they're little tiny things, and then they get this size. And they don't realize the maintenance. They're not a beginner pet.
Turtles live to be 80. Most folks won't be told that at the pet store.
These turtles are available for adoption, but they come in a lot faster than they go out. The villa opened in 2013. A few years later, they had 20 turtles. Now they're up to 60, with calls coming in all the time.
We currently have a waiting list. 6 people with 8 turtles. Generally once a month, for sure. And right now we're at full capacity and there's no room at the inn.
But not every unwanted turtle winds up at the retirement villa. Sometimes they're simply abandoned, set loose in a pond or other waterway, where the life of a single turtle is just the beginning of what's at stake.
They don't belong here. Newfoundland has no native species of turtle. Red ear sliders are on the top 100 invasive species of all time. We don't want them in Newfoundland.
Recently, the villa has been getting calls about turtles seen in a pond in St. Philip's. Oliver posted about it on their Facebook page, which is what brought me to the villa for an interview. But while I was there, his phone rang again.
You actually have a picture of this turtle in Bowring Park? Oh my God, would you send it to us, please? You too, bye-bye. Wow, turtle in Bowring Park. Well, I always knew there were turtles down there.
And they got a picture of it.
And they got a picture, so they're gonna send it. So we're going.
Wow.
Crazy, what?
You didn't set that up.
We didn't set that up, like, you couldn't set that up if you tried, right?
A minute later, the proof was sent to Oliver's phone. A turtle, plain as day, living in a park in the heart of St. John's. The next day, Oliver and Constantine were there. As soon as they arrived, they spotted the turtle, and Oliver took this video.
Oh, here she goes.
But when he approached it, it slipped into the pond. They've made several attempts to catch it since. No luck so far. For all their turtle troubles, Oliver and Constantine love these animals.
I love that they are all different. They're like human beings. Every single one of them has a different shell, has a different color. There's something different that makes them unique.
Different personality.
They definitely have a different personality.
But as with so many issues with so many animals, the real problem isn't the turtles, it's people. Zach Gowdy, CBC News, St. John's.
So one of the biggest problems that you have if you host a festival, an outdoor festival in Newfoundland and Labrador, is the weather. But here in St. John's, it looks like it's shaping up to be a solid weekend. I'll have all your weather details coming up after the break.
Welcome back. Well, organizers of the Folk Festival must be pretty pleased with the sunshine and the beautiful weather down in Bannerman Park in St. John's this evening. It's the 46th anniversary of the event, and Jeremy Eaton is down there live tonight. So, Jeremy, how's it all looking so far?
Well, I do have a sweater on, but I am wearing shorts and sandals. I'm just taking a look. The few blue skies, a few cloud covers, but the sun is expected to shine for the next couple of days. Behind me, there's some traditional musicians getting ready to play. They're going to start at about 6:30, but there's lots of things planned for this 46th version of the Folk Festival here. Lots of music, lots of activities, lots of things to eat, but we'll talk about that in a bit. But right now, what we're going to do is talk about the weather, because I think for many people in and around St. John's, that's the most important thing for this festival, because in the past, there have been some issues with the weather, but that doesn't seem like it's going to be a problem this weekend. So I'm going to ask my good friend John Pike in the control room if he could just throw up the weather graphics so we can talk a little bit about that. John? All right, let's take a quick look at today's highs. Now in Labrador, the hot spot was Happy Valley Goose Bay, coming in at 24 degrees. 7 up into Nain and 12 over into Labrador City on the island. The hot spot today, Badger, Deer Lake, Corner Brook, all hit 22 degrees, 18 in St. Anthony, 17 in Lassie, and 21 down in Marystown. Now, what's in store for tonight? Well, on the eastern part of the island and the St. John's and down in the Burin Peninsula, it's going to be a clear night. You're looking at 10 and 11 degrees. And then there's going to be a few showers into central and western Newfoundland as well. 11 there in Gander and Grand Falls, Windsor, 13 in Port aux Basques, and 14 in Corner Brook. Now you can expect 2 to 4 millimeters in and around Stephenville, Corner Brook, up into Gross Mourne. And when we move into the big land, there's a possibility that you could see 5 to 10 millimeters of rain in Labrador City overnight, sitting at 6 degrees there, 6 in Nain, 10 in Happy Valley Goose Bay, and a clear night in the Straits and Cartwright, both at 10 degrees. Now, tomorrow, the wet weather is going to continue, and you can see the band here. If you look up towards Labrador City and Happy Valley Goose Bay, that system's going to move through. Just watch it cycle again. There it goes. And then that rain system is also going to move up through western Newfoundland, meaning overnight and into tomorrow is going to be a bit of rain in Labrador, the Northern Peninsula, and along the southwest and western coast of the island. So let's just take a look at what we're looking at tomorrow. Now, in the east, 18 degrees in St. John's. Bay Roberts is not on here, but Bay Roberts could hit as high as 24 degrees. And you can see 20 in Bonavista, Clarenville, Marystown, but you can also see the greens seeping in, so that's when the rain band is going to start. And like Gander, Twillingate, Grand Falls are sort of on the cusp of that. They'll see showers, but no real amounts, 20 degrees down in Harbour Breton. And if you move across, this is where you're going to see the most rainfall on the island. 2 to 4 millimeters in Port aux Basques. Burgeo could get a couple millimeters as well. 10 millimeters in Stephenville, Corner Brook, Gross Mourne. Deer Lake is expected to get that as well. And if you move up into the Northern Peninsula, you can see these rainfall amounts start to increase a little bit more. 10 millimeters in Port au Choix, 5 to 10 millimeters in St. Anthony, 10 to 15 millimeters in Lancelot and up into Mary's Harbour, and 10 millimeters in Cartwright. And it's going to get a little bit interesting. If you look there at Churchill Falls and Happy Valley Goose Bay, you can see there's a possibility of some thunder showers there. But look at those rainfall amounts in Happy Valley Goose Bay. 10 to 20 millimeters possibly could fall. 5 millimeters in Makkovik. Nain is also going to be damp, but not as much accumulation as into Makkovik. Now, just keep an eye on Churchill Falls, because there's a possibility you could have thunder showers all day tomorrow. Most likely in the morning, but that could continue into the afternoon, and 5 to 10 millimeters in Labrador City. So there's no thunder showers expected to hit St. John's, but there is some thunderous music playing there in the background. The traditional music has started here on stage. The doors have opened up. Now, music is a big part of the Folk Festival. There's a lot of other activities. There's workshops and stuff, and of course, there's things to eat. You can get your face painted. There are convenience stores, Fatima's. Indian food is there, smoothies, Ziggy Peel Goods, a staple of any festival here. Jumping Bean is serving coffee. If we're just going to pan around, thanks for that, Ted. Stuffed Toutons from Towton Lane, and we're just going to zip around to where we started all of this hit, just so we can show you that there is music here in the background. People have started to show up. They've brought their chairs. The door just opened, so it's going to fill up, and that is what happens here at the Folk Festival. People like to come and spend the evening, but the good news about this weekend is that the weather is going to hold up, as we just talked about. It's going to be sunny, it's going to be clear tonight, it's going to be sunny tomorrow and the next day, and there's 2 full days of activities tomorrow. Now, to learn more about the festival and who's playing and the details like that I've left out, obviously, we're going to speak to some organizers of this event, but that's coming up later on in the show. Reporting live from the Folk Festival in St. John's at Bannerman Park, I'm Jeremy Eaton for CBC's Here and Now.
Well, staying with fun outdoor summer activities, maneuvering around the pedestrian mall in downtown St. John's just got a little easier for people with vision loss and an iPhone. The City of St. John's and the Canadian Institute for the Blind have partnered with accessible GPS app Blind Square on a 2-year pilot project mapping mall specifics. Have a look.
Open Blind SQ event.
Blind SQ event. Search button.
Today I have with me Blind Square, which is one of many navigational apps that exists on the market. They're an orientational map that helps with navigation for people that are blind or partially sighted. And in there's things like look around, so you can actually stand with your phone and turn in different directions, and it will tell you the types of things that are around you that you might want to navigate.
Entrance to pedestrian mall zone, 14 meters at 1 o'clock.
That's over there.
Accessible picnic tables and garbage bin.
So we have those picnic tables there she
Mary
just picked
Brown's
up.
Parklet, 18 meters at 2 o'clock.
I've spent a lot of time in downtown St. John's, so I do a lot of things based on memory or other tools. Before I would sort of make my best guesses, but now I can get more information about where I am and what's around me. I think the most important piece is that it gives more independence to a person with sight loss, so I don't necessarily need someone to go with me to give me all that information about what's around me and where I am.
Sound Salon Spa Parklet, 17 meters at 12 o'clock.
Right now it's an iOS app. Unfortunately there's not an Android. We hope in the future. But right now you can go to your Apple Store to download that, your App Store on your Apple iPhone. Also along the street, for those who can pick it up visually, there's a bunch of signs around with QR codes on them that'll take you right to that point where you can download. What we'd like to see is people come down, try out the app. Even for those with sight, give it a try. There's information that comes up, but to those with sight loss, come down, give it a try. Give honest feedback, because that's the only way that we can improve things. Feel free to reach out to the City of St. John's or the local CNIB office here, and we'll help you out best we can.
as part of our cod moratorium coverage this week, we've been bringing you stories from Bonavista, exploring how that town and its people have reinvented themselves and their industries in the 30 years since. Now, one of those people is Peter Burt, who now makes his living selling sea salt.
I actually graduated high school the year the moratorium started, and I left to go to cooking school in Ontario. And then I was away for 20 years before coming back to be a chef in St. John's. And during my time in St. John's, we were a hyper-local restaurant, and I started dabbling with making sea salt. And then 10 years ago, we formed a company out of Raymond's, out of the restaurant. Then 5 years ago, we moved to Bonavista and haven't looked back since.
Can you take me back for a second though and tell me why you went to Ontario for cooking school?
I actually was trying to go to Kona, but I couldn't get a seat because it was all full of people being retrained. It was everyone from the fishery being retrained in the new trades, so I had to opt to go. I ended up going to Ottawa to go to cooking school.
And to go forward again, why sea salt?
That's a really good question. It honestly, it just happened. It's when you're a chef, you're looking at all aspects of everything going into a dish, and it came down to we were being very hyper local, and it was like, how come we buy salt from France? Why can't we make it here? Why don't we traditionally? It's just we traditionally have never have. They've always brought salt over in the boats, filled it full of cod, salted the fish, and brought it back. So we've never made it. Plus, traditionally, we don't have the sun hours to do it evaporated in the sun for very long. So I started developing a way at the restaurant to make sea salt inside using electricity. And it got to the point we were selling at the farmer's market, and we decided to really give it a go. And we were searching for a location, and through a friend of ours, we found at East Coast Glow. He told me that they were moving to Bonavista to do soap, and that's when it started. We looked at it, and we spoke to John Norman, and it went from there. And it's been pretty amazing.
It's such an interesting connection between the past and the present when it comes to salt, because you mentioned salt cod here in Bonavista, largely a fishing community. Cod moratorium happened, and now you're bringing salt back to Bonavista, and it's a fine dining kind of thing.
Yeah, it's done amazingly well. Like, we have our salt from here to Vancouver. We're wholesaling our product. We have restaurants here to Vancouver and some in the US. We sell off our website all across the world. It's been amazing response, and we're actually at this point now, 5 years in, we're reinvesting and buying more equipment to up production, hire more people. It's great.
Can you tell us a little bit about the process?
Simply, we boil water. So salt water is between 3.5 and 5% salt. We're evaporating 96% of it to get the salt. That's the basic way. It is more fine-tuned than that, but for us it takes about 12 to 14 days from start to finish. We do small batches. At any one time we have multiple batches on the go, so I'll be upstairs packaging, and we'll also be boiling water downstairs. So it's a constant 24 hours a day boiling.
When you graduated in 1993, just after the moratorium, did you ever think that you would be in Bonavista selling salt?
Absolutely not. That was like the last thing. I was so keen to get out of here and never come back, honestly, and now I'm so happy that I'm here. It's amazing. It's phenomenal how much I feel connected to being here and wanting to be here. Yeah.
Why do you feel that connection?
One, I feel like every Newfoundlander at a certain point in their life wants to come home. That's pretty much it. You want to do something, you want to make life for yourself. So it's been very rewarding. It's been a bunch of challenges, but I'm very glad I'm here.
So nice to hear, and thanks again so much to Peter Burt of the Newfoundland Salt Company for being so welcoming to us during our visit to Bonavista. Now, from sea salt to sea tours. Earlier this week, our intern, Ife Alaba, ventured out on the water in Bay Bulls. She tagged along with some tourists for an O'Brien's whale tour.
There's a nice tail shot.
I think seeing all the whales was my favorite part because they were like swimming around. It was pretty cool.
Did you expect them to be that big?
No. I thought they were going to be way smaller.
I think seeing the whales has been fantastic. The tails, all the breaching, they're just seeing the mom and the calf, that type of thing. It's been really great.
Last time I was whale watching, we were on a little Zodiac. What I liked the best about today was, I don't know if it's captain or not, you get bonus singing, and who wouldn't love that?
Hip your partner Sally to go, hip your partner Sally Brown, Fogo, Twinningy, Morton, Sarber, all around the circle.
I live in Edmonton, so don't really get to see this stuff at all.
So what do you usually get to see in Edmonton?
Well, we see porcupines and stuff. That's it, really.
The birds have been fantastic. Just I wasn't expecting that.
Are the birds a bit scary to you? Like thousands of them just flying around?
Maybe if I was like a puffin and that black one was gonna get me, then I definitely would be scared.
They were absolutely cute. They were actually a little bigger than I thought. The way you described them, I thought they'd be a little smaller, but they're amazing. I love the way they skim across the water like they're flying.
So what timing? They've been playing music for the last like 10 minutes straight, and then as soon as we go live, they finish up a song. But you can see that's some traditional music happening on the main stage to kick off the 46th running of the Folk Festival here in St. John's. And standing not too far away from me is Anna Brophy. She's the president of the Newfoundland and Labrador Folk Arts Society, and her and I are going to talk about all things Folk Festival coming up after the break. Welcome back to Here and Now. Thankfully, the music has started up again. You can see that the field here behind me is starting to fill up. And also in the shot that you can see, we've known each other a long time, Anna Brophy, president of the Newfoundland and Labrador Folk Arts Society, who's joining us. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So, Anna, talk a little bit about, this is the 46th version of this event,
Yep.
but now it's back to normal. Talk a little bit about the slogan and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so this year we're really touting that it's good to be home. We're back in the park. This is a big celebration for us because it's been 2 years of disruption, as everyone knows. We had a full festival planned for 2020. We went through all the ordeal of moving the date to the second weekend of July, only for it to be canceled. So now we're back. Second week of July is going to be our date going forward, and we're super excited to be here.
Now, the weather has cooperated. I just told our audience that it's going to be sunny for the next couple of days. As the organizer of an outdoor festival in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador, how does it make you feel to know that you're going to have good weather to cooperate with the great music behind you?
It's a big relief because there's so many factors that you have to think about. Like, obviously right now this Interac outage is a big issue for us, so we're having to pivot. We were supposed to be cashless this year, and now we're having cash at the festival, so you just can't really make too many plans because you have to make another plan after.
So the Rogers out, we were talking about the Rogers outage that we talked about earlier in the news that Carolyn was talking about has affected you, so you're encouraging people to bring cash tonight if they're going to come down?
Well, credit card preferably, but cash we will accept. Yep.
So now it's been 2 years since you've been back to normal. What sort of acts will be playing down here over the next couple of days?
Well, we have a big variety. We put a lot of emphasis on representation, diversity, and inclusion here at the Folk Arts Society. So we have artists from all over the province, all over the country, as far as Europe, various French acts, Indigenous, all sorts. So there's something for everybody here.
And so I got to ask, is there any band or any act that you're looking most forward to seeing this weekend?
Well, obviously we want to celebrate our Newfoundland acts, like the headliners are the Once, the Kubasonics, and I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank right now. The Masterless Men, so sorry. But I personally am really excited to see Rose Cousins, big fan, so I'm looking forward to seeing her. Yeah.
But it's not just music, there's other things that are going to happen. Is that correct? What sort of stuff can people expect to see?
Yeah, so we have a partnership with Dance NL, so we will have dance represented at the festival. We have a bunch of amazing food truck vendors here. We have a craft tent, so you can buy all sorts of different Newfoundland items, so there's just lots of stuff here.
And so obviously it's going to kick off at 7 o'clock. There's the traditional band playing now, but it starts at 7. And what's going to happen at 7 o'clock? Because I know that Anna was worried about the time because you have to do something at 7. So what's going to happen at 7 p.m.?
Well, we have our opening ceremonies. We're going to dedicate the festival to someone who's made a big impact in the folk arts world. And then we're just going to kick off a whole night of music. So not a lot of talking, more emphasis on performances. So.
Now, other than the Rogers outage, is there anything that people need to know before coming down for tonight, tomorrow, or Sunday?
Well, we have a bit of a revised festival site, so we're not in two parts of the park now. We're just in the one part. So entrance is close to the Bannerman Loop. Again, we do not have Interac, so it's credit card primarily if you can, and if not, we do have cash. This year we also have a new addition to the Kitty Bitty beer tent. We have Newfoundland Distillery ready to drink cans, so that's exciting. So yeah, that's it. Come down and enjoy.
Well, Anna Brophy wasn't supposed to do this interview. It was supposed to be somebody else, but he was busy, so we threw Anna in the last minute, and I greatly appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Anna. This is Anna Brophy, the president of the Newfoundland and Labrador Folk Arts Society. I'm Jeremy Eaton, live at Bannerman Park. Don't worry, I got more weather coming up later.
Well, the rumor mill can be a curious thing. Back in the summer of 1982, there was one rumor that was swirling around the town of Whitburn. No one knows for sure how it started, but it was enough to send people rushing to the bank in a panic. We dipped into the CBC archives to bring you this story.
Some Newfoundlanders are so depressed by the way things are going, they don't even trust the banks anymore. There's no way they can lose their money. But as Barbara Yaffe reports, that doesn't matter. They're taking their money out.
This bank was besieged this week. People in this town of 1,200 heard a rumor and were convinced this branch was going bankrupt, even though that can't happen. No one seems to know how the rumors got started, but in Newfoundland, with the highest jobless rate and the lowest incomes in Canada, people were taking no chances. They came in droves to take out all their money.
Well, there's rumours going around. I mean, the bank is going bankrupt, and I mean, I got no money in there. The wife got it in there, so I mean, she's not going to take no chances.
We heard the rumour going around that the bank were closing, and everyone were taking up their money. So we came up here yesterday about 2 o'clock, or a little after 2, and she was lying right out through the doors in. Right here, we had to stand outside, we couldn't get in.
Not everyone has lost confidence.
I know what money I owns is in this bank now, and that's where it's going to stay. I can tell you that right now.
A number of towns in rural Newfoundland are experiencing the same sort of thing. They tend to be small places where people know each other and rumors spread quickly, and it's easy for rumors to travel from one community to the other. Newfoundland bankers are surprised by it all. Even during the Depression in the 1930s, no Canadian bank failed. And in any case, everyone's bank account is insured up to $20,000.
The Canadian banking system is the strongest, perhaps, in the world. And the rumors that have developed in Newfoundland in the last week or so have no foundation, no credibility.
The bankers say they've checked with their head offices, and the panic withdrawals seem to be happening only in Newfoundland.
No one is sure why the rumors got started in Newfoundland, but one theory has it that people here are worried about the financial health of the business community, particularly the large fishing companies, and their ability to repay their loans to the banks. Barbara Yaffe, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, let's see who's celebrating. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to Margaret and Carl Slaney of Marystown. Congratulations to Alonzo and Lucy Stride of Lewisport, who are celebrating their 54th anniversary. Happy 64th anniversary to Michael and Georgina Billard in Marystown. Anniversary greetings going out to Lauren and Ann Moores, who are celebrating 52 years together. Happy 53rd anniversary to Fred and Blanche Thorne of Burnt Islands. Wishing Alan and Elizabeth Reed, also known as Bud and Bess, wishing them a happy 60th anniversary. Happy 50th anniversary to Kevin and Elizabeth Reynolds of Bonavista. Congratulations to Ron and Myrtle Pinsent on their 55th wedding anniversary. Happy 63rd anniversary to Percy and Sarah Collins of Hare Bay. Happy 54th anniversary to Lloyd and Shirley Banfield of Ochre Pit Cove. Wishing Violet and Milligan Chapel of Virgin Arm a happy 67th anniversary. Happy anniversary to Al and Georgina McCarthy of Highlands, who are celebrating 60 years of marriage. Happy 50th anniversary to Boyd and Nancy Coles of Aspen Cove and Ladle Cove. Happy 65th anniversary to Lauren and Verna Moss of Eastport. Congratulations to Jim and Marie Suley in Hearts to Light. They're celebrating their 57th wedding anniversary. Happy 50th anniversary to Eric and Geraldine Beckett of Mount Pearl. Wishing Joe and Ida Cull of Gander a happy 62nd anniversary. Congratulations to John and Elaine Spurl of Hodges Cove. It's their 53rd anniversary. Wishing Max and Ethel Hollett a very happy 97th wedding anniversary. Happy 60th anniversary to Nellie and Bill Jennings of Foxtrap. Happy 66th anniversary to Sam and Pearl King of Deer Lake. Happy 51st anniversary to Jean and Gerald Parsons of Heart's Content. Anniversary greetings going out to Baxter and Annie Robson of Great Harbor Deep, now living in Deer Lake. It's their 53rd anniversary. Happy 65th anniversary to Reverend Hubert and Lily Mercer. Best wishes from family and friends. Congratulations to Selwyn and Jean Warren, who are celebrating their 60th anniversary. Happy 64th anniversary to Ronnie and Jesse Smith of Seal Cove. Wishing Enid and Maxwell Barrett of Conception Bay South a happy 66th wedding anniversary. Happy 50th anniversary to Jim and Una Hines in Salmonier. Anniversary greetings to Pearl and Carl Milley of St. Anthony. It's their 67th wedding anniversary tomorrow. Claude and Linda Dunn are celebrating their 54th wedding anniversary. They live in CBS. Happy 55th wedding anniversary to John and Eleanor McGraw of St. John's. Arthur and Ethel Simmons are celebrating their 54th wedding anniversary. They're from Grand Falls, Windsor. Happy 65th anniversary to Garth and Mary Tiller of Corner Brook. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to Matthew and Maria Prim from all your family and friends. Happy anniversary to Reverend Lockley and Phyllis Fiander from Fortune, now living in St. John's. They're celebrating their 69th anniversary. Now to some birthdays. Best wishes to Richard Brinston, who's turning 97. He served with the 59th Royal Newfoundland Regiment. Happy 95th birthday to Eileen Wells from Glovertown, now living in Gander. Birthday greetings going out to James Wells, who's celebrating his 91st birthday. He's living in Corner Brook. Dorothy Foster is celebrating her 90th birthday. She's from Old Perlican and now lives in St. John's. Wishing Ellie Vokey a happy 97th birthday. She's from Spaniards Bay and now lives in Carbonear. Happy 94th birthday to Edna St. Croix of St. Vincent's. Birthday greetings going out to Joan Beaton, who's turning 90. Happy 91st birthday to Teresa Wall from Happy Valley Goose Bay, now living in St. John's. And best wishes to Nathaniel Smith from Norman's Cove, who's celebrating his 94th birthday. Another fine crowd. Congratulations once again to everyone celebrating. And speaking of celebrations, it's a great night to kick off the 46th Annual Folk Festival at Bannerman Park. That's where Here Now's Jeremy Eaton is right now. And Jeremy, I think it's worth repeating that the Rogers outage is having an impact on the festival tonight, right?
Well, it certainly is. As we showed you earlier, and directly behind videographer Ted, there's a number of concession stands, and all of them would normally take debit, but because of the Rogers outage, debit is currently not available. So as Anna Brophy just said, the president of the Newfoundland and Labrador Folk Arts Society, they're encouraging people to bring cash or credit card. Now, if you're like me, I never have cash, so you might want to stop into a bank machine before you pop down here if you want to get something like a tout and a coffee or a feta chips. But yeah, so other than that, I think that's the only thing that they're keeping an eye on. The weather is going to hold up, as we talked about earlier, and the people are filling in here behind us, and the traditional music is playing. But now, not everybody watching this is in and around St. John's. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the 5-day forecast to see what it's going to be like across the province over the next couple of days. So if my friend John Pike in the control room could throw up the graphics, that'd be best kind. Now, if we look ahead for the next 5 days, the eastern part of the island is probably the best looking of the entire province this coming weekend. 18, 21, 22, 21, and 22 again, all sun over the weekend, which is great news for the folks down here at the Folk Festival. Lots of sun, which means lots of people are taking in the music and the events that they have to offer, which is a good sign. Now, as I was talking about earlier, as you move west from St. John's, outside the overpass, so to speak, you can see there's going to be a lot of rain. Now, Central could see a few sun showers on Saturday, but 19 degrees, and you can see it's going to be wet for the rest of the week there. But look at those temperatures. You're into the 20s, which is not too bad. Western Newfoundland, you're also going to have a wet weekend, Saturday being the worst, and that system will move out, but there'll still be some traces of rain there on Sunday, and Monday will hit 22, but the sun will come out on Tuesday. Now, the bad news is Labrador, it's also going to be a damp weekend up where you are as well. As you can see, those possible thunder showers in eastern Labrador on Saturday, western Labrador, a lot of rain as well. 14 degrees in both of those places on Saturday, 13 on Sunday. But then if you look into Monday and Tuesday, the temperatures start to warm up. 17 degrees in both, 18 and sunny on Tuesday. So the eastern part of the island is going to look good for the weekend. The rest, you're going to be looking pretty damp, but the sun will come out, maybe not tomorrow, but later in the week, and you can bet your bottom dollar on that.
So yeah, great forecast. It's looking lovely down there tonight.
Yeah, I thought you were going to talk about how I quoted Annie the musical, but I guess we're just going to gloss right over that, eh? Yeah, no.
That was good. That was good. Yes.
It's looking like... Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging the joke after I pointed it out to you. So, like you were saying, I'm just looking up at the sky, and there's a few clouds, but there's blue skies. It's fairly warm down here. I know I'm wearing a sweater, but yeah, sounds good. So that's it for us down here. Carolyn, back to you.